How's it going, legends? Today I want to talk about chord progressions. Now, I was asked a question: how would you make a chord progression for death metal or a backing track? And it's had me thinking, and what's the best way to answer this? Because I was like, where can I hear chord progressions in death metal? Because I don't ever hear them like a traditional. And then the B minor. Haven't done all those type of chords in a while, but see how that's all pretty, it's nice. It sounds like things you've heard before, like an E minor to an A. To a G major. Nice just chord progressions, okay? We could take something like the E minor or E natural minor chord progression, which is what I'm basing this off, and it's got the E minor, F sharp diminished, G major, A minor, B minor, C major, and a D major. Now, it's nice that we've got a clean tone and you can hear every little thing, and these are all pretty sound and all of that, but that doesn't sound death metal to me. And why would this be important for me to play you like nice chords? Because the death metal is like a contrast to that, or it's like, that's what I think makes things sound so messed up, because we're so used to hearing these type of rules in music that say follow this chord with this chord and do an A minor and do this one, and it sounds all very nice and orderly and there's resolution. They're used in so many songs, all of these rules. Now death metal comes along and says, okay, I want to turn on distortion. And then you're not going to, go, okay, well, here's a death metal chord progression. You're not going to be like, that doesn't really sound death metal to me. You're going to start looking for scales, because all chords and all chord progressions start from the scale. There's a E natural minor scale that then the triads are built off the notes of every single note in that chord is found within that scale. So if you have that E, minor chord, or F sharp diminished, they're going to be in the natural minor scale. And then you're just going to group them together, because what's a chord? What's a triad? A chord is just 3 notes or more. Triads are the building blocks of chords. So if you have E, you've got an E, you got a B, and then you got a G in there, which is. And because we've got like the octave of E, and then that fourth or the third string is your G, and that's your triad that's an E minor triad, which then once you know your triads, you can start doing. Because that is the notes that's in an E minor chord. And that's what, now we're going to get into the idea of, okay, now we know those triads, we can start doing. You know what I mean? Like, we're doing that same thing again. We're doing a triad, which would be that. We're going from an E triad to a C triad, C minor triad. And that helps you to know that, okay, if we're going to start using chord progression and rules, now we can start building that. instead of just sticking along the exact formula going up, we go, let's start switching things up, you know. Instead of doing an E minor, we could start going, okay, let's do a diminished. Instead of that E minor, we can do a thing what's called an inversion. You can start to hear, we're even getting into like a bit of thrash metal there, aren't we, with you're like, why does that work so well with the E minor? Because if we go from now, you can start to hear how we're getting more and more into like death metal territory here with what we're trying to create. And then using those rules, and it's almost like going against what you're supposed to do, makes it sound more messed up, makes it sound more dissonant. Because this is something that you're going to hear a lot, and in death metal that gets used a lot is dissonance. And are you always going to do it like a traditional arpeggio or chords going? You can do that, but it starts sounding too messy. That's when this whole tremolo picking, you know, came in, doing triads or using the notes of a triad to find out a pattern. You're starting it off with a minor triad. Then you can throw in extra notes, but these are like the building blocks of trying to create chord progressions. And each one of these chords has a note in it, which that's how you start to build your melodies out from that one. And then you have to decide what style are you trying to do, like a very tremolo pick, like a lot of tremolo picking, a lot of gallops, a lot of down picking. Because you would think that's more like a thrash metal riffing. But if you put the tremolo pick in, once you understand what the rules are with a natural minor chord progression, then you can start going, let's just do all diminished. And then just always going outside the rule. Instead of being stuck to a diminished triad, it's almost like I use it like a framework to go, okay, well if I've got, then I'll just go one note. notice how people, they'll start on that root note of that scale, which is the root note of that chord, and then if we were to stick to the exact rules and do the diminished triad, and then we'd stick on that. We're implying the diminished chord. Just like if we were going to use a major, we would... We're implying a major chord by tremolo picking each one of those notes if we want to imply the minor chord. And I think this really evolved, and this is just my thoughts and opinions on it. I really think the style evolved from having so much distortion, and we started off with clean, where we could have the chords so like nicely accented. And by accent I mean you can hear all those little colouring notes. And then if we went to a... You know what I mean? That style of music, like where that clean style of guitar playing really shows you like all those little notes are like sparkling off the root note. There's just so much clarity in those notes to imply a chord, to give you that tone, or that, you know, the idea that that is an F sharp diminished. The sound, not even the idea, it's saying here's a major chord, here's a minor chord. Whatever these chords are, they're very like strong, going, yes, I'm here. But when you have lots of distortion, I think it's very hard to hear. And then also, you know, the aggressiveness of tremolo picking, down picking, all these type of things. Having the distortion that then when you light it up, you know, and then we've got just the riff idea, which I don't really think that there's riffs that were created. Some people will create riffs built off the chord structures and all this, and I think the more technical it gets, you'll hear that these people are doing what's called arpeggios, you know, if you've got swings. That's a minor swing. It's telling you I'm an A minor, I'm built around A minor, I'm more technical sounding. When we're talking about just straight riffs, and you've just got starting off with the chug, you're not caring what key that's in. You're not caring that, oh, this is, I'm trying to imply this thing. It's chaos. And I would really say diminished is like the dissonant. It's used so much in death metal. Diminished, augmented. Sometimes it's almost like reverse of the diminished, augmented, where you'll see diminished goes in angles and augmented. It's almost like augmented goes diagonally backwards and diminished goes this way. So you could have... And then it's all going to be, can you string skip? So if you'd like more information on what I've been talking about today, follow the link below to my Patreon for only $1 a week. $1 a week. That is the cheapest guitar lessons you're ever going to get. My YouTube members, thank you very much. Reach out to me through the emails so I can start giving you some tabs. I really want to look after you guys as well. To all my subscribers, thank you for turning up and supporting the journey so far. We're nearly at 12,000 subscribers, and yeah, if you can just come back, even start watching more videos, start binging them for me if you want to push this channel. You know, if you don't have $1 a week, if you've got an internet connection, start watching more of my videos so YouTube will push it out to more people, get more people involved in this, and push me on to, you know, keep creating more content. So for that being said, keep just playing guitar and loving it, keep smashing out the riffs, and yeah, until next time, just keep loving it, eh? Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Catch you later, legends.